Welcome to the Live Wealthy podcast with Dawn, where we are growing our wealth and our worth at the same time. You ready? Let's go. Welcome to the Live Wealthy podcast with Dawn. I'm a certified financial planner, a behavioral financial advisor, and the CEO of a wealth advisory firm called WELLthy Financial Group. And I'm here to deliver financial advice, trusted fiduciary financial advice for all. And on this episode today, it is the beginning of the holidays. And so I wanted to take a brief moment and record an episode on being thankful and really about how can you be thankful and thriving at the same time. Because yes, you can be thankful for everything that you've had in the past and also be thriving in your life with all of the opportunities that you're working on and creating and growing in your life today. And I believe it is our birthright to be thriving, not just surviving. And we all have access to being able to survive and not just survive, but thrive and being thankful. And so this is all about thriving in your life. So in order to thrive in your life, you have to have a ton of gratitude. Being grateful for everything that you have today. That is the secret to thriving. And the more grateful you are as a human being, the more generous you can be with your time, money, and resources. And you cannot be a generous person if you don't have financial security in your life. And that's why you always hear me talk about having financial security and freedom through understanding and implementing a financial plan. Because that's the only way that I've known over the last 25 plus years is to have financial security. And when you have financial security, that actually allows you to give back and to be a fully generous human being. So how do we become financially secure? Well, of course, I always talk about financial planning, but what really goes into the proper type of financial plan? Well, it's really about two things. It's about having the right mindset and being able to manage your mind and your money at the same time. So managing your mind and your mindset and having the proper financial education, you need both. In our industry, most of the time, like 99% of the time, people are just focusing on financial education and they think that's going to change people's relationship in the contentment and fulfillment and happiness and enjoyment of money, because that's what we all want. We want to enjoy our money and to be able to be in a good relationship with money. And many times people have a lot of money, but they're not able to enjoy their money. That's because we need to work on and manage both our mind and our money at the same time. It's not just about the education. So why do I continually educate people around their worth or their inner wealth and their mindset? Well, it's because 70% of us have a scarcity mindset around our time, money, and our external resources. 70% of us. And it doesn't matter how much wealth or income you have, and it doesn't matter about your background. It doesn't matter what your background is or your level of wealth. 70% of us have a scarcity mindset, this lack mentality. So why are we thinking and lacking all of the time? Well, first of all, it's a biological reason. Our brains are formed, they were developed to be fearful or look at the lack of what we don't have in our life. So there's a biological reason, first and foremost, that we always have to fight against. Okay. So you have to understand that first and foremost. That's why most of us, if not all of us, have this scarcity level of thinking with either our time, money, or resources, or all of it. It also is, a lot of us have the scarcity mindset because of our past hardships. We have witnessed our parents and our grandparents go through hard times, or we've perceived them to be hard times. And so we think that that's going to happen again in the world we live in today. Many of us have a scarcity mindset because we live in chronic stress. We are on the constant hustle and grind for more and more and more. And when we live in chronic stress, stress is an emotion. And when you're emotional, you can't be rational with your time, money, or resources. And then you can't be thriving or thankful or generous with any of those things. Okay. So the chronic stress is also a reason why some of us have a scarcity mindset just because of a lack of knowledge and education around how money really works. And so when we think money is intimidating, so we don't get educated around it, and then it can completely, and I've seen it, it can completely control your money, can control your life, or the lack of money can control your life because you just are not wanting to get that education around how money works. And by the way, the education part is actually really, really simple. Okay. So, but some of us don't take the time to educate ourselves. And the other reason why I believe many people have a scarcity mindset is because we live in a world in social media where we are constantly comparing ourselves to others' highlight reel. What we're seeing on social media, which allows us to focus on what we don't have. It's a constant struggle. And even me being 53 years old, when I look on social media, it's always like, oh, I don't have that. Or I don't, I don't have that. And it sets me in this spiral of scarcity and a lack mentality. So how do we change the scarcity mindset? Well, there's 7 different things that you can do in your life because we all have the control and power to change the biological response and how our brain was formed to shift and reframe how we not only perceive the scarcity around us, but to make it a reality where you actually enjoy and have more money and are content and fulfilled with the life that you have. Okay. So we can shift our perspective, but I want you to hear this is that we can shift the reality of how much money we have. And so we can have enough and enjoy our life and our wealth. So what are these 7 things? First one is being aware of your thinking. Did you guys know that we can control our thoughts? However, because of the way our biological brain was formed, we have 80,000. We have about 80,000. Obviously, it's not exact, but we have about 80,000 thoughts a day, of which 80% of them are negative. And the majority of our thoughts that we have on a daily basis are repeated day after day after day. So we're living in this constant negative fight in our mind because it's just how we were wired. So the first thing you need to do, if you want to shift from a scarcity mindset to an abundant reality of having money and being enough and enjoying your money, you have to become aware of all of these negative thoughts that are just floating through our mind. And what I want you to do when you become aware of your thinking, knowing that you can control these thoughts and change them, but I just want you to ask yourself this question. Is that thought you're having right now, is it 100% true all of the time? And you will find that 99.9999999% of the time, it's no. That thought, that negative thought, yes, could that have happened? Could that thought create a negative outcome? Yes. But is that true 100% of the time? No. And so you have to reframe that thought and look for the time that whatever that negative thought is, what time that you can guarantee that it could turn into something positive because of your past experiences or you witnessing something different happening in the past, and you need to be focusing on that. That's the key, is the awareness. Most of us aren't aware of our thinking, but being aware of it and knowing you can change your thinking. Number 2 is having daily gratitude, right? Being thankful on a daily basis. Now, when you do this, it sounds so like immature, or it's not like, yeah, we've all heard, Dawn, to have gratitude, right? But here's the interesting thing is that when you actually practice gratitude and you are thankful, and it helps you thrive more. But what happens also, it helps you rewire your brain. The daily gratitude rewires your brain. So what I want to challenge you on is every morning when you wake up, I want you to think right away before you grab this thing, or before you, maybe not before you go to the bathroom, because some of us, need to go to the bathroom first, but maybe even while you're going to the bathroom, like you need to think of 3 things you're grateful for. Okay. They can be small. They can be big. They can be whatever, but just practice that daily gratitude. And as simple and like childish as it seems, it actually rewires your brain. There's scientific proof on the daily gratitude. Number 3 is to focus on your wins and set these small goals, which you've all heard too. Set small goals, right? But what that really means is focus in on those wins. What I want you to do is look back 5 to 10 years ago in your own life. And what are you successful at today that you weren't successful 5 or 10 years ago? You guys, 5 years ago, I couldn't even talk on camera. Like I literally could not look at a camera like I'm doing right now and even get any words out. And now I can come in and educate and give you really some incredible education around money and some education around managing your mind around money by just naturally delivering this content. I couldn't do that 5 years ago. Okay. So, but what happens is if you're like me, who's a driver, like I am a go-getter, action, do. I'm an activator on the Strengths Finder. And what happens is I even forget myself to stop and look at my wins and the small goals that I've achieved that I haven't even realized I've achieved. And you guys, when you do this little practice of looking at your wins, from even a year ago, 5 years, 10 years ago, what it's going to do is it actually helps you build confidence, and it makes you more confident as you move forward to thrive in today's world and in your future. But it also actually helps build your self-esteem as well. And your self-esteem is your worth. And if any of you have read my books, watched my podcast, listened to my podcast, watched my keynotes, have done anything in my community, I'm always preaching worth and wealth. Because wealth alone will not make you happy. It solves problems, doesn't make you happy. But having your worth, your internal wealth, and your external wealth at the same time and growing those simultaneously, that's how life gets magical. Okay? That's how you build your self-esteem, which is how you think and feel about yourself. So look at those wins and celebrate those as well. That was number 3. Number 4 is to be in a community. I cannot stress more about the how valuable it is to be in a community that helps you reinforce that positive thinking. Okay, because we're biological developed to be negative, but when you are around a positive human being, you suddenly take on those same type of vibes and that same type of energy. And guess what happens? Then you become a positive person. Many of you have heard that we're an average of the 5 people we hang around the most. So who are you hanging around the most? What communities are you in? Are you in a scarcity community that's only bitching and complaining and mourning and looking at all the negative things? Because those people find what they're looking for. But are you in a community that's reinforcing the positivity, that they're reinforcing the opportunity, they're reinforcing the perspective, the new perspective that you can have in your life to make it a reality? You guys, the energy in life is real, and who you hang out with makes a huge difference on how much money you have. That's number 4. Number 5 is to reframe those failures. You guys, hello. We have all had many failures. In fact, if you look around and the people that you think are the most successful on this planet have the most failures. They've taken on the most risks. And what you have to do when you have failure in your life, instead of getting down on yourself and, focusing and just kind of even getting depressed or in a numb feeling or in a numb, like being numb, then what happens is that you stay there and you need to reframe that failure because you're thinking that you're not worthy, you're not good enough, that this doesn't happen to anyone else, which is all of the lies your brain is telling you. And what then happens in your brain is that all you do is focus on the lies, and then those lies become a reality. What you have to do instead is those failures are learnings in your life. What was positive? What did you learn? How are you growing from those failures? Okay. So just reframe those failures. And that's number 5. Number 6 is self-development, personal development, which is working on your worth. It's working on yourself. And I'm here to tell you something. You cannot be a happy person if you're not doing some inner work and working on your past trauma, pain, or even current challenges. And if you're not working on the things that you need to change in your life, you will never have enough and you will never be enough. Self-development comes down to this. It's understanding that you can control your thinking, like I said earlier, and you can manage your emotions, which is managing your response to all the shit storms in life. That is what personal development comes down to. It's you taking ownership and control of your behaviors and knowing that you have complete power and control to change your thinking and manage your emotions and how you respond to life. And I cannot not talk about self-development without saying this, is that when you take self-development and you add on spiritual development, which I believe wholeheartedly is the secret to peace and joy. If you take self-development, spiritual development, and couple those two things with financial education, or call it financial development, like I don't believe that you could ever arrive at a better place on this planet, but you need all 3 of those things. And when you're able to focus on your own weaknesses and your trauma and your pain, and we all have it, but when you're able to get through that and you're able to have a spiritual connection with a creator bigger than yourself and just take some time to educate you around money, that is the opportunity place for you to really arrive at being thankful and thriving at the same time. And then finally, number 7 is visualization. Now, you might laugh at this, but I'm going to tell you a little story around visualization and visualizing what you want and the success you want in life. When I was in high school, I was a state champion in, you're going to laugh, but in triple jump, like what the heck, right? State champion 2 years in a row in triple jump because I visualized me being a state champion and being successful at my hop, skip, and a jump into the pit. And I am not athletic at all. Like there's nothing athletic about me. No muscles, no whatever. But it was my mind had the biggest muscle. And when I sat there and visualized that I wanted to be number 1, I wanted the success. And as I was up against a girl that was 6'3", like I'm 5'6", maybe 5'6". She was 6'3", like had long legs. Like physically, she should have kicked my butt, but I kicked her butt. Not because of my body, but because of my mind. And I'm a living proof. You guys, I practice this on a regular basis is when you visualize your success and what you want in life and you start to live like you already own that, it comes to you. So here's my challenge for you for the rest of the year. You're listening to this podcast at a thankful time of the year. We're beginning the fun holiday season. And I want to say this is that between now and the end of the year, maybe you have 30 days. What I really want you to do is I want you to focus on this every morning when you wake up, you focus on the 3 things you're grateful for. And I want you every night when you go to bed, you visualize the life that you want to have and the money that you want to have and the success, your version of success, and then start living it as it's already there, you're going to start to unpack and watch the different opportunities that present themselves to you for more money, more life, and more fulfillment. Okay. So those are the 7 things: awareness of your thoughts, daily gratitude, focus on those wins, be in a community with like-minded, positive people, reframe your failures. They're learning experiences, spiritual, and financial development. And then finally, visualization. Okay. 30 days to a new you. Because this is where we shift. We shift our thinking patterns from scarcity and fear to abundance and gratitude and a thriving mindset. And when you add in this mindset change and you add in the financial education, and by the way, you guys, any of my podcasts are out there. It's free financial education and it's the technical advice. I am a CFP. I am a fiduciary trusted advisor with 25 years of experience. I'm giving you trusted financial advice. Okay. You don't have to necessarily pay for financial planning if you just want the knowledge on how money works. It's here and available to you. You have the power to change your scarcity mindset. And it gives you this resilience, this power, this resilience to bounce back when life throws us curveballs. That's how you're able to live well. And that's how you're able to live a life that's satisfying. So here's what I want you to do. If you want to be in our community, if you want individual help, if you want to listen to the podcast, but you're like, oh, I've listened to your podcast, but I want more. I want you to click the link below, fill out the free financial assessment, and then my team and I will help guide you on what is the best path for you financially for you to be able to live wealthy.